Hi there, welcome to my views and news. Four news stories for you. Before that, an announcement. After around 60 minutes, I'll be back with this week's first live chat. And in the live chat, we'll have topics to talk about, like Ethiopia, like Somalia, Eritrea, Egypt meeting. Uh, then other issues related to Ethiopia, the Horn of Africa, will also be discussed in the live chat. Looking forward to see you with your questions and comments. There's four news stories. Firstly, who is telling the truth, Ethiopia or Russia? Since yesterday, we have been seeing conflicting reports about 1,600 metric tons of wheat given to Ethiopia by Russia. Russian state media is reporting one thing, and the Ethiopian state media is reporting the opposite. Who is telling the truth? Secondly, I never heard in recent months that Djibouti's low capacity to handle Ethiopian fuel imports was the reason behind fuel shortage in Ethiopia. But an Ethiopian minister, not minister, but he head of Petroleum and Energy Authority talked about it. Thirdly, yours ESX has been ESX has been launched, Ethiopian Stock Exchange. I did a video on that yesterday. I told you that on Friday it will be formally launched. Is it a poor start? There was so much hype about ESX. Only one company has been listed so far. Which company? Is it a profitable entity? Will people buy its shares? And lastly was Jubaland issued a statement last night, an alarming statement. Jubaland, Mogadishu are in dispute. We know what happened in Ras Kamboni. Did some video on that. Jubaland is calling for reinstatement of arms embargo on Somalia. Let's start, viewers, with the first news story. Yesterday, Russian state media reported that Russia provided 1,600 metric tons of wheat to Ethiopia. Russian ambassador to Ethiopia was seen with Ethiopian officials handing over the wheat shipments to Ethiopian authorities. It happened in Gambela. And since yesterday, we have been seeing a social media campaign against Ethiopian government. That Ethiopian government claims it is self-sufficient, rather it is exporting wheat. Then why is it receiving this wheat aid from Russia? Either the government is lying, it is not producing surplus wheat, it is not exporting surplus wheat, or it just wants to continue receiving wheat from abroad, though it has enough wheat at home. Ethiopian state media today rejected the reports that Russia provided wheat for Ethiopians. Today, Ethiopian state media, Ethiopian press news agency, FANA, others, all released reports, and they're claiming that the wheat provided by Russia, 1,600 metric tons, is meant for South Sudanese refugees of South Sudan who have been fleeing the conflict, the poor economic conditions in South Sudan, and they have been entering Gambela region of Ethiopia. And some are Sudanese too, Sudanese who enter Gambela because of the war in Sudan. So this wheat this wheat supply is meant to be delivered to South Sudanese people, not for Ethiopians. Ethiopian Refugee and Return Service, which is the Ethiopian body which monitors the issues related to refugees, also took this position. But Russian ambassador to Ethiopia, when he spoke yesterday while delivering the shipments to the Ethiopian authorities, told a different story. Evgeny Terekhin is Russian ambassador to Ethiopia. He said that in the second half of 80s, Ethiopia faced great famine, and back then Russia supported Ethiopia. Russia has been supporting Ethiopia. What Russia is doing today in terms of delivering food aid to Ethiopia is not new. Russia has been providing support to Ethiopia in the past as well. If all this wheat is for South Sudanese refugees, why did Russian ambassador talk about the Russian support for Ethiopia during the Great Famine of the 1980s? It means that either Ethiopia is not speaking the truth, or Russia is not telling the facts. RT, Russian news channel, reported about the delivery of wheat to Ethiopia. And RT mentioned that the wheat is due to be distributed to Ethiopians and to South Sudanese refugees as well. Russian TV is saying that the recipients would be both Ethiopian and Sudanese. But Ethiopian Refugee Return Service is rejecting Russian position. I have a clip for you. The clip is from Russian RTV, RT, Russian news channel. And you can hear Russian ambassador Evgeny Terekhin speak about delivery of shipment of wheat to Ethiopia. And you can clearly see that Evgeny is talking about the delivery of wheat to Ethiopia. Watch the clip.
And now to Africa. Russia has provided a donation of more than 1,600 tons of wheat to Ethiopia. The supplies are to be distributed through the UN World Food Programme, including to assist Sudanese refugees in an eastern part of the country. Now, numerous civilians displaced by an ongoing civil war in South Sudan have fled to Ethiopia's Gambela region, and that has increased needs for food and other aid in one of Africa's poorest areas. Now, the Russian ambassador presided over a ceremony dedicated to the latest round of assistance. Now, he spoke about the traditionally strong ties between his country and Ethiopia.
Today, we are living through difficult times, facing many simultaneous challenges, one of which is fight against hunger. Russia and Ethiopia have long-standing firm fraternal relations. It is worthwhile to recall how in the second half of 80s of the last century, during the so-called Great Famine, the former Soviet Union helped Ethiopia by providing transportation of humanitarian supplies by plane, helicopter and trucks. This time, Soviet transport units mainly participated in delivering grain to the starving population of the country's north. And now we continue this friendly tradition of rendering assistance to our Ethiopian brothers and sisters. We hope that the supply of Russian grain, which is being handed over now, will help Ethiopia to support needy refugees in Gambela region.
Now, the aid is expected to help an estimated 160,000 refugees who have sought safety in Ethiopia. Russia has been strengthening its support for the African region with supplies of much-needed food and other assistance.
Secondly, viewers, now Ethiopian authorities are linking fuel shortage in the country to the lack of operating capacity of the Djibouti's port, which handles Ethiopian fuel imports. Fuel shortage has been ongoing in Ethiopia for months. I never heard, by the way, that I never heard from the government officially that the fuel shortage is because of the lack of capacity of the terminal in Djibouti, which is receiving Ethiopian fuel imports. Ethiopia imports its fuel obviously through neighboring countries. It's a landlocked country. Sahrala Abdallah is DG of Petroleum and Energy Authority of Ethiopia. In an interview on a television channel, Ethiopian television channel, she claimed that 80% of Ethiopian gasoline imports used to come through Port Sudan. Now, due to the war in Sudan, the imports have been diverted to Djibouti's Horizon Terminal. Horizon Terminal does not have the capacity to handle the huge Ethiopian fuel import. That is why the delivery of fuel from Djibouti to Ethiopia gets delayed. So according to her, this is the main reason behind shortage of fuel in Ethiopia. At the same time, she admitted in the interview that recent fuel shortage was due to illegal fuel hoarding. That some people involved in the business, they illegally stored fuel and that created shortage of fuel and people face problems. Now, viewers, why is that? Now the government is talking about the lack of operating capacity of Djibouti's Horizon Terminal. Just 2 days ago, yesterday, Ethiopian Parliament approved a law to punish those who store fuel products at unauthorized locations, who sell petroleum products at unregistered locations, etc., etc. It means that the shortage has been caused by the actions of petroleum mafia. Fuel mafia is responsible for the fuel shortage. Is government trying to cover up the inefficiency? And it is now blaming the operating capacity of Horizon Terminal in Djibouti. I think oil mafia, petroleum mafia is partially responsible for fuel shortage in Ethiopia. They deliberately create fuel shortage. And when they know that fuel prices are going to be increased, they get information from inside. They're part of the government, you can say. They know that on this day, fuel prices will increase. So before that, days before that, they start storing fuel. They wait for the prices to go up and then they release the stored fuel. This is one of the main reasons. And here government is to blame. Government is trying to shift the blame to Djibouti's Horizon Terminal, it seems. Take a listen to what DG Petroleum and Energy Authority Sahala Abdullah said about petroleum product shortage in Ethiopia.
አንዱ የመጀመሪያው እንግዲህ ነዳጅ በተለይ አምና በፈረንጆቹ አዲስ ዓመት 2024 ከፌብሩዋሪ ጀምሮ በተወሰነ መልኩ ያቀርቦት ችግር ገጥሞን ነበር። ያቀርቦት ኢኔሴንስ ሆራይዘን ተርሚናል ማስተናገድ ካለበት አቅም በታች ሆኖ ሲያስተናግድ የቆየበት የተንከባለሉ ችግሮች እንዳሉ ማሳየት ይቻላል ማለት ነው። ሁለተኛው ደግሞ የአጠቃላይ በተለይ ቤንዚንን ማዕከል አድርገን ደግሞ ስንነጋገር የቤንዚን አቅርቦታችን ከዚህ ቀደም እስከ 80% የሚሆነው በሱዳን ወደብ በኩል ይገባ ስለነበረ አጠቃላይ የሱዳን የመረጋጋቱ ሁኔታ ወደ ለየለት ከገባ በኋላ ሙሉ ለሙሉ አቅማችንን ወደ ጅቡቲ የማዞር ነገር ነው የተደረገው። ስለዚህ አንዱ የጅቡቲ ተርሚናል መሸከም ከሚችለው አቅም በላይ የኢትዮጵያን ፍላጎትም ከማሟላት አኳያ የራሱን የቻለ መንገራገጮች የገጠሙት ቢሆንም በቀንም ያም ሆኖ ደግሞ በቀን የመጫን አቅሙም በአንድም በሌላ መልኩ እየተጎዳና እየቀነሰ የመጣበት ሁኔታ አለ። ነገር ግን ሰሞኑን ካየናቸው ሁኔታ ስናይ ግን የአቅርቦት ችግር አይደለም። አቅርቦት በሁለት መልኩ ዲፋይን እናደርገዋለን። አንዱ ከውጭ ተገዝቶ ጅቡቲ ወደብ ድረስ የሚደርሰው ነው። ከጅቡቲ ወደብ በኋላ ደግሞ ወደዚህ የሚመጣው
Early viewers, at last, Ethiopia has launched its stock exchange. For months, speculations had been ongoing. It was due to be launched in November, but the last minute technical errors delayed the launch. Now it has been officially launched. Today, PM Abiy launched the inaugurated Ethiopian stock exchange. This is the second Ethiopian stock exchange in history, because during Haile Selassie era too, Ethiopia had a stock exchange, but when communist government took over, communist forces took over, they put an end to the stock market, stock exchange. Now, it was being said that this stock exchange could provide an opportunity to the local investors to buy shares of profitable Ethiopian entities. It is being hoped that Ethio Telecom, Ethiopian Airlines, and other profitable entities will be listed on the new stock exchange. So far, only one Ethiopian entity has been listed, and that is a bank. Wagagan Bank. I hope the pronunciation is correct. The Wagagan Bank is the only Ethiopian entity listed at the stock exchange. And bank is not the largest bank in Ethiopia. I mean, if you see the top 100 banks in Africa, there is no Wagagan Bank there. Awash Bank, Bank of Abyssinia, Dashan Bank are there in top 100 banks list of Africa. Wagagan is nowhere to be seen there, though it's a profitable entity and it earned around 18 million US dollars in 2024, in the year ending in June 2024. And it showed 80%, over 80% of growth than the previous year. So it's a profitable entity, but it's not an African level entity. I don't think that foreigners will show lots of interest in buying shares of such small, mid-size Ethiopian bank. More entities will be listed in coming months and years. But people were hoping to see at least Ethio Telecom, which is selling its shares through Talibur, that it will list its shares, it will be listed on the new stock exchange. So far, just one entity listed. Maybe we'll see more investments, more entities listed. Imabi called it a milestone when he addressed the gathering inaugurating the new stock exchange. It will be a milestone if it attracts foreign investment. If no one shows interest in buying shares of the Ethiopian entities, it means that it's a failure. So let's see what happens. I'm not an economist, by the way. I just share my views with you. If you have better information, more information, do share in comment section or in today's live chat after an hour. Lastly, with Jubaland Mogadishu dispute continuing unabated. Jubaland expelled federal forces a few weeks ago, killing and capturing hundreds of federal forces. Jubaland held indirect election opposed with the federal government. Madobe got himself elected for a 5-year term opposed with the federal government. Federal government issued arrest warrants on Madobe. Jubaland issued arrest warrants of Hassan Sheikh. Then Somalia's government imposed a ban on civilian flights to Puntland from Mogadishu. Ban still in place. Jubaland Regional Cabinet held a meeting yesterday, issued a statement, alarming statement. That just shows how weak Somalia's internal structure is. I mean, a regional state is calling for reinstatement of arms embargo on Somalia. Arms embargo was lifted uh, recently. Somalia remained under arms embargo for years. Lifted, and now Somalia is establishing its forces. Jubaland is opposing that, saying that clan-based recruitments are underway. That is why ban should be reimposed. Secondly, Jubaland is saying that Somalia's airspace should be controlled by a third party, because this government of Hassan Sheikh is using the airspace to block civilian flights from Mogadishu to Jubaland. So some third party, means some other country, should take over the airspace of Somalia. And thirdly, Jubaland is accusing the federal government of Somalia that it is denying budget and support to Jubaland. That is why international community should provide direct support to Jubaland government. It's like Jubaland wants more autonomy. It's now getting, I think, worse with every passing day. This is not how regional states and federal governments interact. The two are acting like two separate entities. Hassan Sheikh will have to somehow reconcile with Jubaland. Otherwise, if situation does not improve, you could see more differences, which won't be good for unity of the country. Thank you for watching.